Jimmy Fallon. Jimmy Fallon was always my favorite of the new crop of late night hosts. He seemed to be the least overtly hostile to conservatives, the most fun, the most entertaining, certainly the most talented. Jimmy Fallon has just play the clip.
There was Alpha, then Delta, then Omicron next. But this latest variant might be the best. It's XBB.1.5. Another brand of COVID-19 has arrived. It's a new strain, but it isn't the same. Sounds more like Elon Musk's kid's name. It's XBB.1.5, not UB40 who sings Red Red Wine. Put on your mask when you're inside a facility. It could be a robot from a Star Wars trilogy. It's XBB.1.5, not OMG or MP3 or TCBY, or an eye chart made by a really high guy. Sounds like the password of your parents' Wi-Fi. It's XBB.1.5. XBB.1.5.
So I'm always trying to see the good in things. It's hard to see the good in that absolutely cringe-inducing performance. But are we at least now admitting that COVID is a total joke? Is that what we're doing? I guess that's what we're doing now. Because you don't do little song and dance routines about serious illnesses. You don't do a song and dance routine. Some people have AIDS. HIV and AIDS. You don't see late night hosts doing that. You don't see people singing songs and dance routines about cancer or about serious illnesses, but they do now sing song and dance routines about COVID. Ha ha ha, tee hee hee, there's another round of COVID, which is fine. I think it's fine to make light, even of things that cause some suffering and inconvenience and even things that really are quite unpleasant. But the regime, the ruling political order, locked down our country for 2.5 years over this thing. They locked down our country. They said it was so serious that we had to take unprecedented action to destroy businesses, close churches, have our loved ones die alone, destroy your career, kick you out of the army, kick you out of your healthcare job, kick you out of school, because of how serious COVID was. And then, oh, just kidding, COVID, ha ha, tee hee hee. It's a joke, don't you get it? Why aren't you laughing with me, hee hee hee? It reminds me of when Stephen Colbert, on his own late night show, decided to do a song and dance routine about the COVID vaccine. Remember this? So there's Colbert. I actually shouldn't downplay his talent either. I was saying Jimmy Fallon is obviously the most talented. You see, Stephen Colbert's a very good dancer. He's actually a very funny physical performer, even though he's a tedious lib when he speaks.
Vaccine.
And it's Colbert there dancing around with people dressed up as giant syringes. Which is a different kind of joke, by the way, than the joke that Jimmy Fallon was making. In a way, Stephen Colbert's, though equally cringy, possibly even cringier, was more justifiable because Stephen Colbert was making light of the vaccine. Everyone was nervous about the vaccine. We now know rightly so because the vaccine was not effective in the way that we were told it would be effective, and the vaccine was not safe in the way that we were told it would be safe. So people had legitimate fears about it, and the establishment propaganda went into full force to convince people, oh, it's not a big deal. So if you do a song and dance routine of, oh, tee hee hee, it's just a funny little vaccine, don't worry, it's a shot, it's no big deal, that makes some more sense. Now, the establishment propaganda has become even more egregious, which is that they're telling you to laugh and giggle about the virus that they just recently had told you was so serious you had to lock down your whole life and put your whole life on pause, or worse, because of it. Why is Jimmy Fallon doing this? Either it means that Jimmy Fallon is just shilling the talking points that the powers that be want him to shill, which is possible. I don't think he's some hard leftist, but he's a nice guy, go along to get along kind of guy. He'll rub Donald Trump's hair when it's funny, and then he'll also sound like a big lib when it's funny too. So it could be that. Or the scariest possibility is that libs and conservatives actually live according to totally different perceptions of reality. If the libs actually believe that that kind of performance is funny, the performance of COVID or the vaccine dance or anything like that, then putting aside our views about a particular set of lockdown policies or anything like that, it means that our perception of reality is just totally different, because there is nothing less funny. There is nothing less intentionally funny that I've ever seen than those two performances about COVID. But for the libs, they really live in dread of, in thrall of COVID and Dr. Fauci, and they believed all of the propaganda and all of the nonsense. And so it really might resonate with them. You know, the rest of the show continues now. You do not want to miss it. Become a member and use code Knowles, Knowles, at checkout for 2 months free on all annual plans.